Hey everybody, it's Dan from Atlas, and today we're here at CSLA Rentals in beautiful Atwater Village, California. And I'm with Oksana from Atlas, I'm with Kathy from Atlas, and I'm with Kim from Atlas. Just want to give a big shout out to everyone at CSLA Rentals. Thank you so much for hosting us for our first virtual online demo. You know, we had a whole opportunity with the first year of the pandemic to do this, but we were busy figuring out how to make lenses during a pandemic. So we didn't focus as much on doing demos because we were busy trying to make the lenses. And now we've got that figured out pretty well. And so we're here at CSLA Rentals, which is one of my favorite Los Angeles area rental houses. Love working here. It's a smaller boutique rental house. Really great people, really nice, really kind, patient, and very reliable. And they're kind enough to let us showcase the Orion Series, the Orion Series Silver Edition lenses, and the Atlas Orion 25mm, which is a new lens that we just showed at Cine Gear, and we've started taking pre-orders now. And today we also have something extra special to show you, which is the new Atlas support system in collaboration with our friends from Tilta. So, you know, Tilta makes really great camera accessories, and we figured who better to work with to help make that helps support the Orion Series lenses if you're using a heavier lens with a lighter camera. For instance, the new 25mm Orion, or you know, even a 40mm with an EF.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, here's someone out there.
I am a researcher and producer.
Hi. Did someone join our stream?
Oh yeah, there was like an invite.
Thanks for popping in. Nice to see you. Yeah, so, you know, I don't know who's on the stream yet. It's still early. It just turned noon over here in beautiful, sunny Southern California. But Oksana and I are just going to give everyone out there a demo. And by the way, I forgot to mention, if you are here on Instagram Live, while you're on Instagram Live, go ahead and tune into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Atlas Lens Co. And we have a live stream which is running from an HD SDI feed, currently out of our Alexa Mini LF camera here. And after some time, we'll switch the SDI feed over to the new Red Raptor, which we have a 40mm Orion on. And once we get through showing the Atlas support system and the brackets, we're going to leave the opportunity open for people to ask questions. You know, one of my favorite things to do at Atlas is give people hands-on demonstrations of the lenses in person, but obviously it's difficult to travel right now with the pandemic, and we wanted to give people a taste of that hands-on person-to-person experience with some of our colleagues here at Atlas, and give you a really, you know, virtual hands-on experience. So you're welcome to ask us to change lenses, you're welcome to ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer those questions and not only tell you, but show you live in real time via the combination of our dual stream technology, brought to you by Instagram Live and YouTube Live at the same time. And thanks again to CSLA Rentals for allowing us to showcase the lenses and the Atlas support system here today. So do we have any questions out there before I get started in showcasing the Atlas support system?
None yet.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Oksana, if you don't mind taking a step closer to the Alexa Mini LF and the 25mm, I'm going to showcase very quickly the new Orion Series 25mm lens. So what's amazing about this lens is that it's, like all the other Orion Series, representative of vintage anamorphic characteristics in a modern, easy-to-use format, manufactured to the highest specification and quality, and mechanically robust and easy to use. So vintage style anamorphic looks with all the modern conveniences for modern filmmakers. And the 25mm represents a really special ultra wide angle lens. So I'm going to go to minimum focus. It's ultra wide, being a 25mm anamorphic, you get about a 12.5mm effective horizontal field of view. is incredibly wide. It has incredibly close focus, under 2 feet. So Oksana, if you can walk right up to the lens, we can show them just how close it'll focus. Go ahead and keep coming. And there we go. So you can see that despite being such a wide angle lens, it really has very low distortion characteristics. You get the beautiful barrel distortion in the room, so you can see the bowing of the roof line, and yet Oksana looks really wonderful up close. It doesn't distort human faces. So to be able to shoot such an ultra wide lens and frame someone so near the edge of the frame in such a wide shot, we're only about 1.5 feet away from Oksana right now, and it looks like, the room is massive, right? But this is actually a pretty small room. It's only about 9 feet by 9 feet in here. So this will really allow you to create a sense of space and environment in a smaller filming environment. And you can see just how awesome this looks with Oksana here. And you can also see the beautiful oval bokeh in the background. So we have these really cool Halloween lights in the background. Oksana, if you don't mind just stepping to the side a little bit, we'll show them So you can see we have some orange and magenta alternating Halloween lights back there. And right now I'm going to T4. I'm going to open up a little bit to a 2.8. I'm going the wrong way. So that's a T4. And I'm going to open up to a 2.8. And, this is really the only 25mm T2 anamorphic lens that you can purchase in modern times. So it's kind of a cool, very unique optical tool to have in your toolkit. So that's pretty cool. And I'm going to briefly switch the HD SDI feed on YouTube Live over to the Raptor. And while I'm doing that, I can showcase how the Atlas support system works. Any questions coming in out there?
Not yet. Any on your side, Kim?
We got a nice picture.
Nice.
Looking forward to see the basket.
Excellent. So I'm going to quickly switch the HD SDI feed to the other camera. I swear I've done this before. Did we just go, did we lose picture?
It's black, so yes. The stream is still happening though.
Okay. Well, I might just switch back then. Maybe we won't be able to switch so easily as I thought. Let's try this one just for the heck of it.
Oh, something popped up at one eye.
Okay, no problem. Looks like we're just demoing with the Alexa today. There we go. And then, let's see. In a minute, Oksana, I might have you go get AC power cable for the mini LF.
Mm-hmm.
But really quickly, let me just show everyone out there the Atlas support system. So this is the Orion clamp ring. This is designed to fit around the outer diameter of any of the Orion Series lenses, 25, 32, 40, 50, 65, 80, or 100, and any future Orion Series lenses that we make. And it gently hugs your lens by clamping down like this. And then you have a located 3/8 screw on the top side and on the bottom side. So you have a lot of freedom for how you might want to either attach accessories to your lens or support your lens. The choice is up to you. And you can even use more than one of these at a time if you wish to. For instance, take two of these, put them on the 100mm, and then bridge the top connections with a handle. You can actually create your own top handle carrying system for a 100mm lens. So that's kind of a unique attribute. It's very modular, great accessories, easy to use, and this is done in conjunction with our friends at Tilta. So you know it's going to be good, and it's also quite affordable. These clamp brackets are about $99 on their own, so it's a relatively affordable and reliable piece of kit, and inexpensive enough to add to every Orion Series lens in your kit if you wish. And sometimes you might even want two. And these are specifically made to fit on the front of an Orion Series lens. So if you'll come with me, I'll quickly show you how this would slip onto your lens. So I'll pan this over to you, then we can do an SDI stream. There we go. So here we have the 40mm Orion Series lens on the red Raptor, and we have 15mm lightweight rod spacing here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Orion support clamp, slide it on from the front, and I'll make sure this is just loosened a little bit, and it'll slide on anywhere you want to grab onto the lens. I recommend stopping short of where the detente is for the focus scale here, so you can see the scale there. And so let's just take it right before that detente, make sure it's pretty lined up and sitting there in sort of a neutral position. I won't tighten it down too tightly, just leave it loose so I can still make minor adjustments. And that's set and waiting for the support bracket. So now I'll step over here, and since we have a 15mm lightweight offset rods, I'm going to grab the 15mm lightweight offset support bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this side, the rod clamp. I'm going to gently drop this onto the front. Normally I wouldn't do this with the lens on. It might be easier to have it already on before you put your lens on, but you know, we're doing things on the fly today. So I slid this onto the rods, and you'll notice it smoothly slides forward and back, and we'll get it positioned in just such a way that it's below the 15mm rods. So, you know, one of the things with the Red Raptor, it's such a new camera, we don't actually have the right riser plate on it. We just have an off-the-shelf bracket to lift it. So it's actually not lifted up just to the right height. So that makes it hard to get this support bracket underneath. But if we were at the right 15mm lightweight height, this would slide underneath, and then this 3/8 screw would come up and screw into the bottom there. So that's an easy way of supporting your Orion Series lens in a way that's adaptive, quick, and easy to get out of the way. So easy to get out of the way, I can just slide it out like that. So hopefully that's a pretty decent explanation of the 15mm lightweight support and the Orion Series clamp bracket. What I will do is put this same clamp bracket onto the 25mm since we have a Alexa Studio configuration here with 15mm studio offset rods. We also offer a 19mm studio offset base configuration too. So what's interesting about you might be looking at the 25 and saying, wow, this is such a big front, it's bigger than the 114 of the other lenses. How are we going to fit this Orion Series clamp bracket onto a 25mm lens? Let me show you. Oksana, if you don't mind holding this for me for a moment. And sorry everyone on YouTube, I'm just going to pop the lens off for a second. So because we standardize the design of the focus, iris, and barrel of all the Orion series lenses, you'll see that we have a common outer diameter of this barrel here. So I'm going to take the support clamp, slide it over the back of the lens, and you'll see that it just lands ever so gently right around that outer diameter there. And just like we were showing before, we'll stop short of the detente for where the focus mark ring is. I'm going to loosely tighten that down gently. I'm going to go ahead and install that 25mm lens back into our Alexa Mini LF here and lock the PL mount. And I'll have this waiting. I'll pan this guy over so you can see. And then I'm going to get the 15mm studio offset support bracket here. So it just simply drops onto the 15mm rods, and it will slide back here. We'll make sure this is loose. Get it in position, and then ever so gently, this is a good one. I'm glad we're doing this live because this is where you learn. So sometimes you might need a riser piece like this, which we include. So we'll just pop this guy up, tighten it in, right? Actually, what I'll do is put this on the lens. So we'll tighten this down on the support clamp from the bottom. Beautiful. And now it's just waiting for me to meet it with this support. So ever so gently bring this up and thread that into place. And then once we feel that snug, we can make sure this is snug. I'm doing it extra slow. Obviously, in a film set environment, it's going to work quicker, but since we're doing this and showing it for the first time, we'll do it slow. And once that's landed, just make sure all your tie downs are tight. And there you go. Our 25mm lens is now safely supported by a 15mm studio bracket. And Kim, what's our price on these? Do you remember? It's now on the website, so you'll have to forgive me. It's such a new product. We'll look that up while we're still showing it, but I think it's either $289 or $299. But we might be running a special. If you check out atlaslensco.com/shop, the site should be live now, and we'll review the pricing before the stream ends today. But I hope everyone out there is enjoying our live stream, getting a high quality HD SDI feed from our YouTube live, and hopefully getting a nice preview of our Atlas support system and seeing the Orion series lenses through our Instagram live feed right now. So just for fun, I'm going to pop this off, and then hopefully someone out there has some questions. If not, we'll showcase the Orion Series Silver Edition lenses a little bit, showcase some colorful flares, and look for questions and comments from everyone out there. For everyone who's just joining on Instagram, be sure to check out YouTube Live, atlaslensco.com, and you'll be able to see a live stream from the HD SDI feed from this Alexa Mini LF camera, and interact with me here live on Instagram Live, asking questions, making comments, and we're here to help and answer any questions you might have and give you a virtual demo experience.
One question is, are you shooting 6K since you don't have the LF adapter on?
So right now we're in 2.8K 4x3 Alexa Studio 4x3 mode. So it's like a Super 35 extraction. Or open gate 35mm extraction from the Mini LF sensor. So we're not using the entire sensor, but if you do want to see the entire Alexa Mini LF sensor, we do have the Atlas LF extender here, and I can switch modes on the camera and show that to everyone out there. Is that something you'd like to see?
I also have a question too.
Sure.
A certain exposures said never had a chance to use anamorphic. The image is always demoed wide open. What's it like at T8?
Great question out there. So certain exposures, if you're not on the Instagram live simultaneously with us here.
He is not.
Okay. If you have Instagram, please join. But if not, if you can hear me, thank you for your question, first of all. And second of all, we're showing this lens at a T4 right now, but I will stop down to a T8 and give us a little more ISO so that you can actually see the lens at a T8. And you know, in classic film times, people would often shoot a 4 or a 5.6, and sometimes even up to an 8, like you suggested. I think that's a great way to hold more depth of field and show more of your mise-en-scène and the beautiful work of the production designers and set pieces, that, as well as the talent in the film. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's great. I'm actually someone who doesn't like to shoot at a T2 wide open. Most of the time it's sort of a contrast stop, if you will. So if I'm lighting to a 2.8 or a 4, and I find that I want a little bit gentler contrast with the Orion Series lenses, I'll open up to a T2.3, T2.2, or a T2. And that's almost like a contrast control. And that's just a, you know, different way of handling the aperture values in today's world of fast sensors. So why don't I go ahead and set that to an 8 for you. That's a 5.6, and that is an 8. And then what I'm going to do is ISO up for you. So you'll get a deep stop. It's a little dark in here, but I will, let me just take the, I have an ND down actually, so I'll take that ND off.
No, you're in camera.
Yeah, come on in. Thank you. I'll tilt up. So this is the 25mm Orion at a T8. It is pretty bright in here, so I have the room lit. We have a light panels Gemini, and in the background we have a Pro Light Orion 300, which is a really awesome light because it has really great color control. You can dial in any kind of gel or color that you want, and it has a great ellipsoidal focus lens, so I can actually use it for flares. So I'll crank that up and flare you in a second with it so you can see that. But yeah, here we are looking at Oksana. Let me get her in focus. And we're at a T8. So let me go ahead and pan that light. I used to be a lighting technician, so no stranger to that. And while we're doing that, I'm also going to plug in the AC power for this camera, just so we don't lose the feed. And if you're just joining again, if you're on Instagram Live, be sure to go to the Atlas Lens Co. YouTube and check out the live stream coming from the HD SDI feed of this camera. And if you're on YouTube only, go ahead and pop onto Instagram Live and you can interact with us, ask questions easily, and hopefully you're enjoying your virtual demo experience with Dan from Atlas Lens Co., Oksana from Atlas Lens Co., Kim from Atlas Lens Co., and Kathy. And hope everyone's enjoying October, one of my favorite months. I hope you're having a great October. I love Halloween. I love the fall season, just having a blast. I had a very different latte this morning. So normally I drink a pretty normal latte with a bunch of nootropic mushrooms in it, turmeric, chaga mushrooms, lion's mane, all that stuff. And today I tried, pardon me if I'm being basic, but I had to try a Starbucks apple crisp latte. I was like,
Sounds delicious.
it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not a big pumpkin spice person, but when I saw another fall flavor, I was like, I'm going to dip into that and see what it's all about. So yeah, here's Oksana looking awesome at a T8 on the Alexa Mini LF. You can see the 240 frame lines there and the 266 where we have a little bit of vignetting. This is a first article 25mm prototype. The second article prototype shouldn't have any of that vignetting in the 266 frame. But if you look at the 240, it's perfectly clean. And I'm going to just walk over here and adjust the lighting and flare you.
Yeah, certain exposures asked how much different is flare at T8 versus wide open.
Yeah, let's demo that.
So yeah, let them know that you're about to do that.
So I just tilted up our Orion Pro Light. So many Orions in the room. This is a Pro Light Orion 300 LED, and I've got it set to a flame red gel right now. So we're getting kind of a magenta combination from that red light. So this is a T8. I'll pan through so you can see on-axis and off-axis flaring there with Oksana. That's at a T8. And then what I'm going to do is ND the lens on the Alexa Mini LF here and open the aperture so you can see just how that changes. And if you want to see a different gel color on that light, shout it out. Let me know what color you might like to see, and I'll see what we can do for you. So I'm still at a T8, and I have an ND 1.2 down. And I'm going to gradually open the lens so you can see the quality of the flare change a little bit. And that's off axis and then looking right down the barrel. You know, the ND filter is attenuating that flare a little bit, so it's not as intense. And I think the contrast at the T8 actually shows off the flare a little bit better. But the 25 is one of our more flare resistant lenses in general. Let me pop back here. And if you have a gel color or, you know, different type of color that you want to see, let us know in the comments and we'll see if we can accommodate a different flare color for you. I'll just cycle through them just for fun too, just to give you some options. That's one called Daylight Blue Frost. Blue Frost.
Dan, would you say that the flare is much crisper at T8, or is part of that because of the ND?
I think that the flare is definitely more crisp and the contrast shows it more. So it is actually showing it off nicely. I'm going to put that ND back on, sorry guys. So again, this is wide open and this is with a light source that's closer to daylight. It's more of a blue, kind of a steel blue color.
Does
On
the,
the stool here, boom myself down.
does the gel change the flare color?
It will a little bit. So this is a standard series Orion. And so I've got a nice amber color now. It'll still be like light blue or kind of teal. Let's see that amber. I bet that's going to look nice. How's that look?
You also said this was a 4:3 sensor mode.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to stop us down to a 4. So I was just showing you a 2. I'm going to stop down to a 4 and turn off some of this ND. How does the stream look out there in the YouTube Live, everybody? Comment, let us know how the HDSDI feed looks. I'm hoping it looks as good as I think it does. And since we have a lot of questions about flare, instead of showing the 25, I'm thinking, why don't we show you the difference between the silver edition lenses and the regular Orions? So just for that sake, I'm going to switch to a 32mm silver edition here, which should just take me a second. And I really appreciate those questions. Keep them coming. This is your time. This is all about giving you the best virtual demo experience we possibly can. So keep them coming. We're here for you.
We got some flames.
Janelle Scheinman says, looks awesome, heart eyes.
Aw, thank you. I'm going to go to a 32 silver, so everybody, we're going to lose picture for a second. And here's that Atlas support system ring, the Orion Series support clamp ring I was talking about.
Starts at 149. The ring is 99.
Oh, thank you. And here we have a 32mm silver edition Orion lens, so this is going to be fun. Thank you, Oksana. So, silver edition are a limited edition run of Orion Series lenses that have special neutral flare coatings that flare more. They take on any colored light source that you may have in frame. And you can see very expressive flares, optimized air spacings. They give you a different through focus quality. So check that out. And let me make sure I'm in focus here. There, just slightly off focus. I'll pan through. And that's showing our amber, pink amber. They call it loving amber. Love these titles for gels. And the off-axis flares are just incredible. So I'll rack to that 40mm Orion over here on the red Raptor. And then I'll pan and rack over to Oksana here. And that's at a T2. I'm going to stop down a little bit just to show off. And one of the things you might notice with the silver edition, besides these beautiful flares that are color adaptive, is the through focus characteristic. So because of the air spacing between the elements and the precision element thicknesses, we're actually regulating and controlling the through focus quality, which some people refer to as 3D pop. So when people are talking about Leica lenses having a 3D pop, what they're really talking about is a little known lens design characteristic called through focus. And through focus is just the quality of focus in 3 dimensions for any given point in the frame. So here you can see we have the loving amber gel, we have Oksana looking awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and go over that control. Next time I'm going to set up my Bluetooth so I could just Bluetooth control the Orion Pro Light, which is a really easy to use light. But today I didn't get to it. I had a few other things going on. So check this out. And everyone out there in Instagram land and YouTube land, feel free to make requests of different gels you might like to see, different qualities that you might want to see. So I'm just going to scroll through some gel colors here for fun. Any questions we can answer? Now I'll make it party mode. I like this one. This is like a mercury vapor or a sodium vapor situation, so it's supposed to look pretty industrial. Oh, I think we just went back to pink. Let's see. Yeah, we go back to it. All right, let's go urban sodium. Nice. So these are two different tints of what they refer to as urban sodium. I'm going to turn down the intensity on this Orion Pro Light LED source here. So I'm at 60% output on the light now. And if you have any requests for colors or things you'd like to see, don't hesitate to ask. We'll demo it for you. And you can see we have that lovely sodium vapor light source here. And I'm going to pan through so you can see the off-axis qualities of the flare with Oxana. And so that's the Orion Series Silver Edition. We're only making 100 6-lens sets, and they won't last very long. So if this is something you're interested in, check out atlaslensco.com/shop, or shoot us an email at info@atlaslensco.com, or ask any questions you may have here in the live stream. We'd be happy to help you out. So something really cool I'm going to show is just really quickly the difference between the Silver Edition Orions and the Standard Edition Orion. So right now I have a 32mm Silver Edition on the Alexa Mini LF. I'm going to swap that with a 40mm Standard Edition Orion that's sitting on the Red Raptor here. Oksana, if you'd be so kind as to hold this 40mm for me.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, we partially, since the video's not working anymore.
Okay.
Connection is unstable.
That's like the Wi-Fi thing, I think. So
Yep.
if you're out there on YouTube Live and you're getting lower quality, just have patience with us. And you look like you might have a question.
Okay, one question is, why is the shutter at 180 and not 50? Can you shoot at this speed?
Yeah, 180 degrees is a shutter angle. So a 50th of a second is roughly equivalent to a 180 degree shutter. So 1/50th or 1/48th would be the same as a half-time open shutter if you're at 24 frames a second. And if you're in Europe and you're shooting 25 frames a second, 1/50th of a second is exactly a 180 degree shutter. So it's essentially the same thing, just a different way of communicating. Because I grew up in the time when film and digital were sort of transitioning. You know, obviously we still shoot film, and these lenses are actually designed for film. We often think of things in terms of shutter angle rather than shutter speed, but it's easy enough to translate between shutter speed and shutter angle. And it's just sort of a force of habit for me to be thinking about angle. So thank you. We just switched from the 32mm Silver Edition Orion to the 40mm Standard Edition Orion. And you can see that same light is not flaring nearly as much. And Oksana still looks awesome. We're at a T4. I'm going to open it at T28. Just to let a little more light in. And you can see, even though we have that light right down the barrel, it's not really flaring as much. But I am going to pick the light up and actually wave it through just to show you some cool flares and cool framing. So there's Oksana, and you can see the beautiful out of focus oval bokeh in the background of those Halloween lights looking spooky. And I'm going to flare you.
Another question, why are the silvers limited edition?
So one of the things that we set out to do at Atlas Lens Co., if you can hear me hopefully, is make anamorphic lenses and anamorphic cinematography more accessible to a wider variety of people. And by doing that, we designed the lenses to be easy to afford, relatively, for anamorphic lenses. So part of the design nature of the product is to make those lenses affordable. With the Silver Edition, we wanted to challenge ourselves to make something that's even higher precision, but still retains the DNA and the design qualities of the Orion series, but with unique attributes that set them apart. And a way that we wanted to celebrate that heritage was to offer a limited edition production run of the Silver Edition lenses. and that way we can give back to the community, whether you're an owner-operator or a rental house, by making these limited edition lenses. We believe that they'll retain their value for years to come. And so it's a unique special offering. It's the best way I could put it. So you can see this is not nearly as flary as the silver edition lens. Sorry if this is a little warm up on it. I'm going to turn up the intensity on this light so you get a little more flare. So in essence, these will flare if you hit them with the right light source, but they're pretty flare resistant in many situations. You can see we have a little bit of that halo flare there residually. And I'll actually take that ellipsoidal beam off there to show it off a little bit more. There we go. That's pretty crazy, right? You all said you wanted flare. And you know what I'll do is I'll stop down a little bit to give this a little more contrast. There. Okay, I'm going to show a 50 millimeter. Actually, I'll show a 65 millimeter. The 65, for those who didn't know, is the first Orion Series lens that we built. So this will be a fun throwback to when we first debuted in April 2017.
One question is, how's that new EVF?
Oh my gosh, I love the MVF2 from Arri. This is an incredible EVF. I wish that they offered a way for this EVF to work on the Alexa Mini original, because this EVF is leaps and bounds ahead of the original EVF, and the flip-out monitor is nothing short of astounding. And if they offered this as if they offered this EVF combo monitor as a accessory for other cameras, I would use it with anything. Really great monitor and EVF. Okay. So I'm just going to open up the aperture a little bit and probably back off on the ND. But you can see that Oksana is at minimum focus, which is just a little under 2 3/4 feet with the 65mm lens. Take a little half step back for me if you don't mind. Thank you. There we go. So we're right at 3 feet right now with a 65mm lens. And another cool thing I'm going to show you in a second, I'll put that ellipsoidal beam back on. I'll open the ND a little bit. There. And then I'm going to show this same lens in LF mode on the camera in 2 different modes. So we're in 35mm format mode right now, 4.3. And I hope everybody out there is really enjoying this. This is something that we plan on doing once a month, and this is the first one we've ever done, so we're still figuring out how we want to do it and what kind of things you like and don't like about it. But thank you so much if you're tuning in. Okay, there we go. So that'll just give us a little scraping flare there. You can see off axis. One of the cool things about the Orion series is that they hold focus through the field, left to right, really well. And that was one of our key design parameters when building these. I'm going to open up and see if we can show a little more flare there. Yeah, so this is the 4.3 mode, 4.3 35mm mode on the Mini LF. And I'm going to go ahead and switch modes just to show you different compositional abilities with this camera and these lenses. So you can see I'm in the Mini, I'm at 2.8K Super 35 4.3 mode. And I'm going to go to 2.8K LF mode. So this is a taller and wider, some people call this the Netflix format, because when you switch to this mode, you're getting a 2:1 aspect ratio delivery, and you'll see that change on, it's going to go dark for a second on YouTube, but it should be back any second now. Did that come through? Mm-hmm. Lovely. So now we're seeing 2:1 aspect ratio mode. And so this is a Netflix compatible format, 2:1. And this is using more of the LF sensor height to get more out of the lens, more out of the sensor. And this is just right out of the camera with a 65mm Orion. We're at a T2.8. You can probably see this on the YouTube live, but we're at 250 ASA. We have an ND6 down, and we're at a 5600 Kelvin white balance. And don't hesitate to ask if there's anything out there that you want to see that we're not doing. Great time to ask. We'll happily show you. So again, I'm going to switch recording format modes here. So we're going to go from 2.8K LF 1:1, and I'm going to bump this up. I'm just going to go for the gold and go all the way to open gate so you can see how that looks. So this is the whole sensor you're going to see in a moment. So you can see, even with those yellow frame lines, those are the 2:3:9 aspect ratio frame lines on the Mini LF. You can see that with about a 5% push in, we do actually cover the Mini LF sensor for 2.4 delivery with a 65mm lens.
The YouTube live stream just ended.
Okay, because I think it's limited to an hour, right?
Yeah.
We might be able to start another one. I don't know. Sorry out there, everybody. Do you mind starting another one?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing it. It's just
Thank you. Thanks for the heads up.
Slow. I think the Wi-Fi is.
There's a question from Jack Galar.
Okay.
I ran into vignetting on the 40mm and below in 2.1 on Mini LF version 7.1. Is that normal?
You might have a tiny bit of darkness. So what I'm going to do is put just in the corners. You might have less than 5% corner vignetting. So if you're doing 5% safety lines, you should be within that. I'll put up that same lens so you can see it without the LF extender. And then I'll put the LF extender on so you can see that. So Kim, once the YouTube live is up, let us know if you can. And if you're here on Instagram live, as I'm assuming you are, we'll be able to show you through the monitor quickly. So just pardon me for one moment. We'll switch to that 40mm lens and show that same format that you were recording in. Thanks for your question. That's awesome. Great. Here's, thank you. Here's the full cap here. Okay, so here you can see that same 2:1 mode in the Mini LF, and this is with the 40mm lens. And you can see there's just a little bit of corner darkness here on this one at 2 3/4 feet distance. I'm going to go all the way to minimum focus, and you can see that there's actually a little bit more corner darkness up there. And as I rack through the focus, that will change a little bit. So it'll get a little brighter, and then it should get just a little bit darker too when we go out to further distances. So I'm going to pan around. It'll be easier to see on the YouTube live, but it shouldn't be super significant, just, you know, a little bit darker. But if you're composing with a 5% safety line, you shouldn't really get any significant vignetting. And just for the sake of completeness, I'm also going to put up the 32mm lens. And then after that, I'll show the same lenses using our LF extender in both this 1:1, which becomes 2:1 mode, and also in open gate mode. So you can see the whole Alexa Mini LF sensor covered edge to edge with our LF extender accessory. 32's on that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pass this to you. I think the trick is to scroll down here. Oh yeah, no, you're good. Here you go. Yes.
Which one would you like here?
I'm gonna take this one and put it on that.
Oh.
Good thing I ate my Wheaties this morning. Just kidding, I don't eat those. Thanks,
Okay, should hopefully be back up. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know if other people. Also, let's probably get a different link.
I'm just driving over to the channel. It should be on the okay.
No, you're great.
You can check the front page on the channel.
So here's the Silver Edition 32mm, and I'm gonna high frame Oxana just to show the darkness of the corners. So I'm just at 1 3/4 focus distance, and then just slide ever so slightly to your right for me, Oksana. To your right. There. Okay. So she's flagging that flare now. So you can see a little bit of corner darkness up there at minimum focus. I'm going to rack through focus. There we have Oksana perfectly in focus. Rolling through. And then I'm out around 9 feet focus distance. 20 feet focus distance, It's a little darker out there. And at infinity, it's just a little bit of darkness up there in the corners. So this is that same 2-to-1 delivery aspect, and I'll just pan through a little bit for you. Now, we're not using a matte box right now, so depending on your matte box, you might need a 6x6 matte box. Your filters in your matte box might be including the ray path, so it really depends on your setup. But in LF Mini world, I would recommend using a 6x6 matte box with these. Thanks, Oksana.
Question.
Go ahead, yes.
Are we running the latest Mini LF update?
We are. We're on the 7.1. Yep, 7.1 firmware. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to take the same lens and then I'm going to put our LF extender accessory on, which will allow the lens to cover the entire Mini LF sensor edge to edge. And I'm going to keep it in 1-to-1 mode first, and then I'm going to go to open gate so you can see the change in field of view. Here. So here you can see our Atlas LF extender. We make this in both a PL mount to PL configuration as well as an LPL base to PL mount configuration. And the only difference between the two products is having that LPL mount allows you to avoid using the airy LPL to PL adapter. So you don't have a LPL, then a PL, then an extender, then a lens. It's just a workflow thing to sort of simplify the chain of physical objects that a camera assistant or operator has to interact with when they're using the lenses in the accessory. So I'm going to go ahead and mate our 32mm Orion to the LF extender, and we're at a T2.8, and you can see that the field of view has gotten a little bit tighter at this distance. I'm going to go ahead and make this brighter for us. So I'm going to take off that ND, and that's at a 2.8 with ISO 250 in this nice bright room, and you can see just how crisp everything still looks and how beautiful those flares look with the silver edition Orion. I'm going to stop down just a little bit. And then I'm going to tip this light down just a little bit so it's flaring a little less. There we go. So this is the 1-to-1 mode that we were just talking about. And I'm going to high frame her again to show the roof line. So you can see the beautiful barrel distortion of the Orion Series 32 in conjunction with the LF extender, and we're in 2-to-1 mode on the Mini LF. And I'm going to go ahead and go out to open gate mode to show you the change in field of view, just how wide you get with the 32mm and the LF extender on the Mini LF. Okay, it's going to go dark for a second. Okay, and there we are. That's the whole Alexa Mini LF sensor, which is a 3:2 aspect ratio. And then with the 2 times anamorphic coefficient of the Orion, so you get a 3:1 master recording aspect ratio. So incredibly wide field of view, still really crisp. Get that beautiful amber flare that will adapt to your light source with the silver edition. And you can see just how well, even off axis, we can hold focus on Oksana. Mind giving us a wave out there? Thank you. So if you don't know Oksana yet, you should know Oksana because Oksana leads our sales department here at Atlas, and she really does a great job answering everyone's questions, helping you find the most value and most knowledge you can about your Orion Series Atlas lenses and all of our accessories. So many of you who are Atlas customers already know Oksana and just how awesome she is. And if you don't, get to know the team.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please email us at info@atlaslensco.com.
And just for fun, since I have this one up, I'm going to switch from the 32mm silver edition to a 40mm standard edition, but keep that LF extender on, just to do a little quick comparison between the quality of the silver edition flares and standard edition Orion flares in the same lighting conditions. So we're at a T2.8. We have the LF extender on. I'm at ISO 250 on the camera, 5600 white balance in the room. And I'm going to quickly switch to the 40mm lens.
Martin Phillips says you're the GOAT.
Oh, I have that.
Push it back a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Got it. Thank you. Okay, and here we are with a 40mm standard Orion with the LF extender. And just to showcase the flare, I'm going to turn off the key light in the room, which will darken the overall scene, but I'll let the flare pop a little more. Pardon me, Kathy, I'm just going to sneak behind you here. Actually, Kim, do you mind just flipping the switch on that? It's on the right.
Am I turning it off?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then, Oksana, just take a little step to your left. To your left, yeah. There we go. And I'm going to tilt that light up again to show actually more flare. Much more intense with the blue light source, obviously.
It also looks intenser through the phone.
So this is sort of trying to make it look as intense as possible with a regular 40mm. And then Kim, do you mind turning the key light back on for us? Thank you. Watch your eyes. There we go. Okay, anyone have any questions out there or comments? Anything you want to see before we sign off? I think we went over our estimated 40-minute time, but just want to make sure everybody got a lot of information about the Orion Series lenses, the new Atlas Support System Brackets in collaboration with our friends at Tilta. Check out @TiltaMax on Instagram, www.tilta.com. www.atlaslensco.com. Check out these Atlas Support System Brackets available now, shipping now. If you haven't heard about our 25mm Orion Series lens, check out the 25. You can pre-order this now. If you pre-order before Halloween this year, guaranteed delivery before Halloween 2022. It's a $5,000 deposit. The total cost of the lens is $15,000 US, and secure your place in line. The widest, fastest, closest focus, modern 2x anamorphic lens you can find in the market. We're really proud of our efforts in this very unique lens. And just want to say thanks again to our friends at CSLA Rentals for hosting us today. One of LA's best, most friendly boutique rental houses. Everyone at the Atlas Lens Co team, thanks for your hard work, dedication, and support in making the world's greatest anamorphic cinematography lens company. And especially thanks to Kathy, who's operating the camera today. Thanks to Kim, who's running our control room here. And thank you so much to Oxana for helping us host this first virtual demo.
Happy to help.
And hope to see you next month. You know, if you like it, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, send us an email, tag us on Instagram, ask any questions you may have. Ask for anything that you want to see. If you're not happy with what you saw today, tell us what you would like to see. We'll do our best to make it happen on the next one. This is something we want to do monthly to help bring our in-person demo experience to you, to your house, to your living room, to your car, to your restroom, wherever you happen to be on Instagram Live at the moment. Hope you enjoyed our dual tandem stream system using Instagram Live for close one-on-one interaction and YouTube Live simultaneously streaming the HDSDI feed out of the camera. Next time, I promise, we will show the Kinefinity Mavo Edge 8K camera. We will show the new Red Raptor 8K camera, and anything else that you request that you want to see that you haven't seen, let us know. We'll do our best to make you happy. Everyone have a great Halloween. Stay safe. Have a good time. Treat your friends and your family and everyone you know as good as possible. And I hope you enjoyed the Atlas Lens Co. first virtual demo. I'm Dan from Atlas Lens Co. See you soon.